Listen closely, because this story begins in a place where the summer air shimmered like melted gold, and every heartbeat felt louder beneath the open sky. A lone fox, his fur kissed by the setting sun, trotted along a dusty path with a hunger that twisted inside him like a restless storm. He wasn't just searching for food. He was searching for something that might remind him he was still capable of winning against the world. And in the very first breath of this journey, destiny placed a temptation right before his eyes. High above him, dangling from an old vine stretched across a leaning wooden frame, hung a cluster of grapes so brilliant they looked almost unreal. Their skins glowed a deep violet, catching the fading daylight in a way that made them shimmer as though brushed by stardust. The fox stopped in his tracks, his breath hitched. For a moment, the world went quiet. These grapes weren't ordinary. They carried the promise of sweetness, comfort, and maybe even a little hope. And hope was something he hadn't felt in a very long time. He stepped closer, eyes fixed upward, imagining how those grapes might taste. Soft, cool, sweet enough to wash away the bitterness of every lonely night he had wandered these woods. He gathered his strength, bent his legs, and leapt. But the grapes swayed just out of reach, teasing him with their gentle dance. The fox landed hard, dust rising around his paws. Still, his heart beat faster, not with defeat but with determination. He had faced harsher challenges before. He told himself that this time he wouldn't walk away empty. Again he tried. A longer run-up, a higher jump, a sharper breath. His paws left the ground with confidence, but gravity pulled him down before he could even brush the lowest grape. He frowned, pacing in circles, feeling his hunger gnaw deeper. Memories of past failures crept in, moments when the world had seemed so close to giving him its kindness, only to snatch it away at the last second. But tonight, beneath the sweeping hues of twilight, he refused to let a bunch of grapes decide his worth. The wind shifted, carrying the soft scent of the fruit. It wrapped around him like a whisper of encouragement. The fox steadied himself and tried again, and again, and again. Each jump seemed to steal a little more of his strength, leaving his legs trembling, his breaths ragged. Still, he refused to quit. The sky darkened, stars beginning to bloom overhead, and with each failed attempt he felt a tug inside, not just of frustration but of longing. He wanted those grapes not only for hunger but for proof he still mattered. He sat down beneath the vine, moonlight brushing his fur in pale silver. For a moment, he allowed himself to feel small. He thought of all the dreams he had once chased, some caught, many lost. He pictured nights curled beneath hollow trees, mornings spent searching for scraps, afternoons pretending the world didn't bruise him as deeply as it did. Looking up at the grapes, he whispered a quiet truth to himself. He wasn't simply reaching for fruit. He was reaching for something that felt just out of reach in every part of his life. With a slow breath, he rose again, not with desperation this time, but with acceptance. He gathered what little energy he had left and made one final leap, a leap filled with every hope, every disappointment, every flicker of courage he'd carried across miles of wilderness. But once more, the grapes drifted beyond his grasp. The fox landed softly, but this time there was no anger in his eyes, only a quiet, tired understanding. Some things in life aren't meant to be claimed, no matter how fiercely we chase them. He looked at the grapes with a gentle sadness, the kind that settles into the heart like the last note of a fading song. Instead of bitterness, he felt a strange peace. He realized that chasing something unreachable didn't make him weak, it made him alive. It proved he still had the courage to dream, even when the world didn't bend easily to his will. The fox offered the grapes one last glance, not with resentment, but with gratitude for reminding him of the fire still glowing within him. Turning away, he walked down the moonlit path, his steps slow but steady. The night wrapped around him like a warm cloak, whispering that life wasn't a measure of what he could grasp, but of how bravely he reached. And though he left the grapes behind, he carried something far sweeter, a quiet strength, born from trying with all he had. He knew tomorrow would bring new challenges, new hopes, maybe even new heartbreaks. But tonight he had rediscovered his own resilience. And somewhere, deep in the stillness of the forest, the grapes swayed gently in the breeze, as if offering a silent farewell. The fox didn't look back. He didn't need to. His journey continued forward, lit by the soft glow of stars and the tender truth he had earned. Sometimes the things we cannot reach teach us more than the things we can hold. And in that quiet realization, his heart felt lighter, carried onward by the promise of tomorrow and the unshakable belief that he was enough, always had been.